Hello everyone, welcome to this edition of Destination Michigan. We can't wait to take you along on this colorful trip across our Great Lakes state. In Hudsonville, we share the sweet story of Stir It Up Bakery and how they're putting their employees on the path to success. At the Muskegon Museum of Business and Industry, the past comes to life by showcasing those who helped put it on the map so many years ago. Then efforts to brighten up one northern Michigan community with pops of color and giant murals. Plus, a historic village on the shores of Walloon Lake gets a boost from a not-so-historic hotel. Join us for those stories next on Destination Michigan.
Support for Destination Michigan is provided by the CMU Bookstore. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, maroon and gold memories, and an official outfitter of Adidas apparel at the Central Michigan University owned and operated CMU Bookstore. Online shopping 7 days a week at cmubookstore.com, on campus at the University Center, and game day locations at Kelly Short Stadium and the John G. Kulhalvi Event Center.
Hi and welcome back. One of our favorite parts of Destination Michigan is our ability to share the stories of the people who are making a difference in Michigan, like Zoe, the owner and founder of Stir It Up Bakery. Zoe has made it her mission to provide meaningful employment to people with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Take a look.
Stir It Up is a bakery with the mission of providing employment to those with disabilities. When I was in college, I was a leader for Young Life Capernaum, which is essentially a youth group for those with disabilities. And what I noticed was that several of my friends were struggling to find employment. And they'd come to me each week and they'd say, Zoe, I'm looking for a job. Do you know who's hiring? What can I do? And at that time, I really had no idea where to direct them to or advice. I looked into it, and that's when I found that nearly 75% of those with disabilities are actually unemployed. So I created Stir It Up.
Zoe started the bakery in 2016 out of her parents' home kitchen. They launched on World Down Syndrome Day with a pop-up. Her goal was to sell 20 to 30 orders of cookies. She was blown away when she received over 500.
I started with a bakery at the time because it was the easiest way to market, in the sense that I could start right out of my parents' home kitchen. And I also wanted something that everyone could get behind. If you don't love baked goods, you know someone who does, so everybody could kind of go and support the mission.
Their mission is pretty straightforward: baked goods that do good, employing and empowering individuals of all abilities. The cookies, cake pops, and cinnamon rolls reflect the sweetness of a talented workforce that includes everyone.
We're a bakery first and foremost, and I trust our staff. Anybody can learn how to do anything. It's been really awesome to teach them some really intricate recipes.
I'm a baker and I get to pop cookies and I get to scoop them.
We have a team of 8. All of our team is part-time and they kind of work based on the hours that they're looking for. However, they all are paid and they all bring something different to our kitchen.
They are the best staff I have ever worked with in a bakery. They show up on time, they show up every single day, and they're happy to do whatever is asked of them. And it's a really beautiful thing to see them master certain recipes and take ownership of those.
I would say our team is involved in all aspects of the business. Anything from prepping dough, making, decorating, serving customers, making boxes. They're involved start to finish.
Molly has perfected the recipes at Stir It Up, and she is quick to point out that they do have a secret ingredient. It's love. The staff is excited to work, and their joy can be tasted in all their baked goods.
Oftentimes we have music on, the staff are singing, and when we're scooping dough, we're chatting about life and vacations and what's going on in the week.
It's just nice getting to know them over the years, and they've always been so supportive and understanding about different struggles other people might not have on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
Stir It Up Bakery outgrew the home kitchen and now has their own storefront. They recently opened a walk-up window. The monster cookies, cinnamon rolls, and savory scones are all fan favorites. The fun part about putting in an order at Stir It Up is the more sales they make, meaning the more hours their staff gets to bake.
People with disabilities are employable. They need maybe some additional training and support, but my goal is to be an example to other businesses and to show them that they can do it as well. You don't need to be a nonprofit to do that. You'll not only enjoy a great cookie or a cinnamon roll or a scone, but you'll be able to interact with our staff and to see the joys that, or the joy that those with disabilities bring into the workforce.
Now, if you're in the West Michigan area and can't make it to the walk-up window, many other businesses and organizations carry their baked goods. Double check Stir It Up's website for details. Well, our state's most populous city on Lake Michigan is Muskegon. Maybe you've checked out a lighthouse or enjoyed the sounds of lapping water by the lake. This time we're taking you to the Muskegon Museum of Business and Industry to learn more about the businesses that kept Muskegon moving.
The Muskegon Heritage Museum of Business and Industry got started as an idea in 1981. The organization that founded the museum was a historic preservation group here in town. They got offered a free steam engine. They couldn't possibly turn that down, so they worked with the City of Muskegon to acquire our present location. We got it for back taxes and paid $1 for the building, and then spent the better part of 2 years cleaning up the building, restoring some fire damage that had happened in it, and then we're able to move the steam engine you see behind me in the spring of 1983, and it was off to the races from there. We have all sorts of fun toys I get to play with on a regular basis, so it's always exciting to come in on any given day.
Kirk isn't kidding. The steam engine is eye-catching and impressive to see in action.
The steam engine is a 90 horsepower coreless valve stationary steam engine. It was originally installed in the Brenneman Hartshorn roller shade factory, just a few blocks down the street from here. They built that factory in 1895 and powered the entire factory using 3 steam engines. The one we have was used to produce electricity to light the lights in the factory, and then they had 2 larger steam engines that powered the line shafts and ran everything from table saws to sewing machines.
And as legend has it, the oilers on the steam engine contributed to a common phrase that many of us have used, at least once or twice.
A number of McCoy-style automatic oilers on the machine that drip oil to lubricate moving joints. And the designer of those pieces was a Michigan resident. He lived in Ypsilanti, named Elijah McCoy, and gave rise to that phrase that we've all heard our whole lives, the real McCoy. So after he invented the oilers, there were all sorts of knockoffs that hit the market. People really wanted the real McCoy in order to guarantee that they were going to get steady oil supply to moving joints on machines like the steam engine.
A hub of innovation, Muskegon also played a large role in some of our favorite recreation activities. Should we spare you the details or strike while the pins are hot? Brunswick is a popular name on the lanes, but the company was also innovating outside the bowling alley.
Brunswick Corporation, as we know it, got started in 1842. In 1906, they began to move out of Chicago into Muskegon. From 1906 until the 1990s, just about everything that had their name on it was made here in town. It's really amazing all the things they dabbled in, because they had skilled woodworkers, they did a lot of cabinet making, they made pieces for contract work to make record cabinets and radio cabinets, and they built bars and back bars, they built billiard tables and bowling equipment, the floors and lanes. At one point they had the world's largest hardwood kiln here to dry maple so that they could make bowling alley equipment, the lanes and the benches and pins and those sorts of things. They don't realize that Brunswick made truck tires and toilet seats. They've made records. They had a recording studio here in town that saw some of the biggest names in music history come to Muskegon to record.
From the lanes to the lakes, Muskegon influenced a variety of recreation forms, including making products for outdoor enthusiasts.
And then we have a pretty large exhibit about maritime industries. Muskegon's been a hotbed of sport fishing innovation, so pretty much everything that was ever in your tackle box was probably initially designed here and marketed out of Muskegon. Some of the earliest Do-it-yourself fly tying equipment was mass-produced here in Muskegon. We had an inventor in town that marketed a product called the Anderson Sport Tent, which was the first collapsible and portable ice fishing shanty. We have one of those on display. Cannon downriggers were produced here and developed here for deep water fishing, and now they're used all over the world. We had a number of boat manufacturers, and one of the small boat shops that was run by a British immigrant named Jim and Boat Works actually made Michigan's first flying boat. The first seaplane produced here in the state was made right here in Muskegon.
A more recent edition highlights the role African Americans played in business creation.
That's one of our newest exhibits here in the building. We have an exhibit about small business owners in the African American community. The bulk of the migration to Muskegon occurred during World War II as part of the Second Great Migration. People coming up from all across the South immediately moved into war production jobs here in town, and eventually brought their families here and built homes and established their own businesses. We're working with a number of community groups now to expand that to include more three-dimensional objects and to tell stories of Black-owned media in the community, and we're hoping to just build those relationships and expand those stories.
With a buzz of innovation and industry happening in the west side of the state, folks were eager to enjoy a cool beverage. And my goodness, there's even a Muskegon connection to Guinness.
Muskegon had its first commercial brewery before it was even incorporated as a city. Lumberjacks are beer-powered machines, and without a good brewery, it was hard to get those workers out in the woods. Muskegon Brewing Company got formed in early 1857. And it was a mom and pop shop when it first got started. A German immigrant couple came to town. He was a Bavarian trained master brewer, and she ran their first distribution point. She ran a tavern pretty much single-handedly, and they grew from producing just a few barrels of beer a month to about 300 barrels of beer a month. And then a generation shift happened, and they sold the business to 3 more German immigrants who then really up the output. They got up to about 3,000 barrels a month in production, and we're a regional distributor all the way from this Indiana state line up to Manistee and inland as far as you could travel in a day by wagon or rail. So they stayed in business. They survived Prohibition, and then right before World War II sold to Grand Rapids Brewing Company, who then right after the war sold to Goebel. And they stayed in business until 1959. They had the distinction of being the first place in North America to have a license to brew Guinness beer.
The Muskegon Heritage Museum of Business and Industry has even more to offer. There are major contributions to science, technology, agriculture, and pop culture. It all adds up to a one-of-a-kind Michigan experience.
Industrial history is part of what makes Michigan move. We've been a producer for the world for basically since statehood developed. And I take a lot of pleasure in seeing people realize just how many products they use in their daily lives came from here or invented here. And we always wow people when they come through.
During your visit to the museum, be sure to catch the video of Amelia Earhart's visit to the area. It's an extraordinary piece of aviation history you don't want to miss. Well, an organization in Gaylord realized the importance of arts and its benefits during the pandemic. The group is now working to figure out how to transform part of their city into a one-of-a-kind art project.
So Gaylord Area Council for the Arts is a nonprofit arts council, and our focus and mission is to foster creativity within the community and the surrounding area, and we do that by supporting and facilitating local artists and creative programming. One of the benefits that art has is economic benefit and also bringing people together, that social connection. So what we saw was a 3-block blighted area that was located on the north side of our downtown. And this alleyway actually sat between the north entrances of these businesses and the majority of parking within our community. First impression, blighted alleyway. We already kind of struggle in northern Michigan around that stereotype, that rural stereotype of being uneducated, no opportunities, and that type of thing. And blight only helps reinforce that. So what we wanted to do is, through art and culture, transform that and really send the message of what our community is all about.
What started as a dream was gaining momentum. Fueled by clear vision and determination, the council soon formed partnerships with local businesses and organizations to start transforming the space. The project Art in the Alley was already underway when the City of Gaylord was awarded $15,000 for a second-place finish in a Consumer Energy Foundation pitch competition. With money in hand, the community was ready to put their mark on their city.
And when we say community, it means what community means to us. It represents literally our community. And in order to represent our community and to celebrate our community, we want everybody that wants to engage to be actively involved. Whether that is they're an artist and they design a mural and put that in, whether it's working alongside of artists to put in an art installation, it could be planting flowers.
From murals to sculptures to mosaics, each art piece tells a different story about the people who call Gaylord home.
And so the mosaic was made up of 408 tiles, and we invited all community members to come out and create a 4x4 painting of what they felt community meant to them. And then when we put it together, it represents the community as a whole, and when you stand back, you can see a larger picture.
The Art in the Alley project is converting a back alley into something truly one of a kind. At the same time, using art to spark conversations and engage all who visit downtown.
Public art is phenomenal in that even people that aren't seeking it out are exposed to it and then can receive the benefit of it. So I think that's the one piece that is really important about that public art with murals and statues and stuff that are throughout downtown, that people might just be coming to the area and just walking through to shop or go to a restaurant, and then all of a sudden there's this giant mural or 3D sculpture that grabs their attention, and then they're able to engage with that art and take a deeper look at that art and possibly spur in them conversations with others and learn more about that. And then through that, they're able to, hopefully, the intention is that they begin to seek out even more creative opportunities. The ultimate vision is to make that completely pedestrian friendly, to incorporate seating, to incorporate lighting, to eventually, there's some power lines and things in the way, to work to get those underground and clean that completely up. And as you walk through, that's what you will have, is you will have an immersive experience with art and learn about our culture and who we are in Northern Michigan.
Art in the Alley is intentional about making room for all forms of art, and during the summer months, the Claude Shannon Park turns into a concert venue. On Friday night, bring a chair and enjoy family-friendly concerts free of charge. Now, driving through the village of Walloon Lake doesn't take long, but the picturesque downtown, pronounced with the gorgeous Hotel Walloon at its center, will leave you with an everlasting impression. For centuries, the beauty and serenity of Walloon Lake has enchanted all who have come to its shores. The area was first inhabited by native settlers, and in the 19th century, a small village formed on the southeast banks of the lake.
So our owner has always wanted to own a hotel. He grew up on the lake until 6th grade, moved down to Grand Rapids, but they kept their house here, and he kind of saw the deterioration of the village and really wanted to revitalize that. The hotel, the restaurants, everything kind of was the beginning of it, and just kind of bringing life back to the village and owning a hotel where we could serve our guests.
Ernest Hemingway, whose family still owns a cottage in the village, credits the surroundings as helping shape him into the writer he became. This quaint community serves as a backdrop of Hotel Walloon, the 32-room hotel that looks like it's been here since forever.
A lot of people come in thinking that we're a refurbished hotel and are really surprised when they find out, nope, we're only 9 years old. There's 32 rooms, so that's the nice thing is, again, it's luxury boutiques, it's small, so it's really intimate. So going back to the service, that's what I love is I came from a 280-room hotel where you were just another face in the crowd. Here with 32 rooms, you get to know our guests. We can really personalize their stay and their service and their detail.
Strolling through the halls and lobby gives you a feel of the rich history of the area's past. There are, of course, nods to Hemingway, the outdoors, and overall beauty of northern Michigan. Hidden among the vintage vibes are touches of modern technology and style.
So one of our taglines is unlimited adventure. So we really kind of hone in on that of you can come and relax at the hotel and really enjoy your stay here if you want. We've got a billiards room, we've got a fitness room, we've got our outdoor heated hot tub, we've got a bar. So a lot of our guests, this beach and patio area, a lot of people will just come and just sit out and relax because they're on vacation. But for those people who do want to get out and about, we've got so many surrounding towns, Boyne City, Petoskey, Harbor Springs, all of these different places around us that they can go and shop and walk and do all these adventures.
As more people make northern Michigan their vacation destination, Wadlone Lake is proud to retain its classic small-town charm and character.
We have an event center across the street. We've got all the little shops and the general store, so we really send our guests to the various areas of the village. And again, with the events, you have so many options that you can pick and choose from that really just helps the community thrive.
Summer is the busiest season for the hotel, but each season offers something different for visitors. But regardless of the season you choose to visit, their mission remains the same.
This is home. We're a family, and again, coming from a 280-room hotel where you didn't get to know people, it is amazing to really get to know our guests. Guests will come in and they'll hug us because they know us, and so we've kind of started with our repeat guests giving gifts. I always say that's why I'm here. That's why I do the job that I do, is to create memories and experience for our guests.
I really loved our visit with Hotel Walloon and just touring the small village. There really is a lot to do in the area and surrounding it. My personal favorite is the shuffleboard court and the many sitting areas where you can just take it all in. Well, that does it for this edition of Destination Michigan. We'll see you again soon to help you discover more of the places that make our state so unique. Thanks for watching.